In this video, let's step in and start talking more about the field to finish survey figures from a survey database, how to manipulate them, how to edit them, and how to make new styles on the fly. So in this drawing, we have already brought in some survey points and some of the field finish survey figures from a survey database. And we need to look through all this data and see if there's anything that's wrong or needs to be edited. So the first thing we'll do is I'll zoom in here and you can see this water line being drawn in a water valve right here. Well, this water line obviously passes through this water valve. So an important concept to understand is that when you're doing field finish, any space in the descriptors, if you hit a space bar in the field, means that you can have a command or a point can have multiple codes. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the waterline 1, WL1 code to this point so that the line will draw through it. Before we do that, we need to understand that feature or survey figures are drawn in numeric order of points. So if you begin a water line using the ST in our case for start, waterline 1, it will draw a line from that point to the next WL1 code that you have, numerically the next point. So that's important to keep in mind in your collection in the field, that it draws them in order. So this is a point 1025, this is point 1026, and this is point 1029. The next WL1 code was from 25 was the 29. 26 just says WV for water valve. If I select this point with a survey database open and in edit mode, the contextual ribbon will change to show some of our survey options. With the point selected, I'm going to click Survey Point Properties to open this dialog box, and I am going to add, put a space, and put W, and it is case sensitive, WL1 in the code. Hit OK. And notice that it wants me to choose the next point to edit. If I hit enter to end the command, it's going to ask, it's going to know that I modified it. Do I want to update the line work? Yes, I do. And I'm going to hit OK. Give it a moment. And now it passes through that point, as you can see. So a point can have more than one descriptor. It could be waterline 1 and 2, water valve and water line, any combination thereof, just however complex you want it to be or how easy you can keep up with it in the field. So I'm going to take this point now that I've got it, I'm going to rotate the marker so that it's along the water line, turn my oat snap off here. And there we got a water valve along the water line. If I come down here to my code sets and I edit it, I can see here the commands. And notice that somewhere down here we have a connect to, which is a dash. Okay, so connect to. Well, this water line and this water line more than likely connect near this valve. I don't know if the valves on this line are this per se, but I know it more than likely goes through it, and that's point 1026. So I'm going to select this point. I'm going to go to the survey properties. I'm going to come here in the descriptor. I'm going to put a space, dash, and I want it to connect to point 1026. I'm going to put 1026 and hit OK. Hit enter again and redraw. And it connected it on the fly. So that's why you can edit these. One, you can edit them after they've been done in the field to make this a little easier. You can use it to connect, you can add descriptors and so forth and so on. Now, if, in our case, anything that is asked to draw line work that we don't have something preset comes in as this color line with these circles on it. So I can glance and see any of them like that. And I know that the guys shot something to draw that I don't have a code for. So they've got some BFO or buried fiber optic here, and I don't have a style for it. So let's make one. We're going to come over here to our prefixes, and I'm going to manage and edit. First, I'm going to scan. I'm going to set it by alphabetical. Make sure there's no BFO here, which there's not. So we'll come down and we're going to hit new. We'll say BF. Whoops. B. There we go. B. Case sensitive BFO. It is not a break line, not a lot line. Let's choose the layer we want it to be on. So we're going to put it on the existing utilities. I believe I have a BFO. Yep, telephone BFO. And in our case, all of our utilities we draw them at 2D no markers so that they're flat. And I'm going to hit OK. And nothing happened, so I'm going to tell it to reprocess the line work. And let's see what happens. And now if I come over here, I've got this line work here that's on the right layer, and all those other markers are gone. Now we set that to the 2D no marker style, because if you have any line work that has alphanumerics on it like this, we found that if it's a three-dimensional line, it will mess up the way this displays. So I would recommend anything that is not a break line that you don't need for topographic break lines, go ahead and just set it to the 2D method, because it's just there for graphical information anyway. So we'll do that one more time. They shot a bunch of inverts, it looks like. Yep, inverts, pipe inverts, which are storm drainage. So let's make that code. So we'll do it one more time. So we'll come over here, manage prefixes. We're going to say new. I'm going to put it as INV. I do not want it as a break line. Come over here and choose our layer. It'd be under existing storm, and I'll put it under storm pipe. And 2D no markers. Hit OK. And let's reprocess that line work again. Now these prefixes and code sets are on my individual machine. So the next time I come into a survey, these that I'm adding will be here. They are not project specific. If you have more than one person doing this work and you want to put this in the location where everyone will have the same thing, you can put it at a network location that everyone has access to and path it there. And as it is updated, everyone will get it. And you don't have to keep doing this. So now we've got all these inverts drawn in here on the appropriate layer. And they have no markers. So just that easily, you can come in and edit and change points and add descriptors or add codes on the fly as you're working. One other thing to edit, I showed you how to use the connect or to edit these codes. You don't necessarily have to do that. You can select a figure and notice that the contextual ribbon changes. And I can come in here and edit its geometry. And this is like feature lines. I can just insert a PI here and pop it through this gas valve right here and hit enter into command. And I've just added a PI to it. So if you don't want to go through and edit the codes, or if it's a quick one-off, you can just edit them. You can insert, delete, you can add the radii and curves, basic editing. commands for Lineworks or feature lines just as easily because these are not polylines. These are survey figures. Let me save this. I'm going to close this drawing and I'm going to reopen it. Now I did that because now the survey database is not in edit mode. If I select this figure, I can edit it all day long, as you can see. It still knows it's a survey figure. So not having access to the survey database does not affect whether you can edit these objects or not, but they are considered survey figures, which is a different type of object. Just allows some extra communication to a survey database. That's it for this video. In the next few, we'll start using some other tools to help draft our surveys and then bring it to a topographic survey surface.